After a 3-year research fellowship abroad, I landed back in the States only to discover my fiancée and my brother were together. I confronted them, our argument escalating in the hotel lobby until the fire alarm shrieked. In the chaos, Sophia shielded my brother, Caleb, pushing him toward the exit. Someone tripped me, my glasses flew off, and the world dissolved into a terrifying blur. Panic set in. Then, through the smoke, my parents rushed in. A surge of hope shot through me, but they screamed Caleb's name. Me? I was their biological son. Caleb was adopted. I woke up in a hospital bed, a piercing pain shooting up my left arm. Thick gauze was wrapped around the back of my hand. My entire family had abandoned me in a fire, and now I was completely alone. The silence was absolute. Footsteps approached, and the door to my room creaked open. "You're awake," a nurse said, her voice brisk. "How are you feeling?" "Still hurt." She stuck a thermometer under my arm, the cold tip making me flinch. My family. My throat was raw. The nurse shrugged. "Don't know. A firefighter carried you out. We tried calling the contact numbers you had listed, but no one picked up." A bitter, self-mocking laugh escaped me. After what happened in the fire, was I really surprised? I glanced at my phone on the bedside table. Not a single missed call. 3 years. I'd been gone for 3 years, and I'd come back to this. On what grounds? Why? I threw off the blanket, tossed the thermometer on the bed, and yanked the 4-needle from my hand. The nurse yelped, trailing behind me. "Where are you going?" The moment I stepped into the hallway, I saw them. Sophia was hovering over Caleb, her eyes practically melting with affection as she fussed over him, as if he were the only person in the world. "Ethan!" Sophia saw me, her expression momentarily stunned before she quickly composed herself. "You're not well. Why are you out of bed?" I stared straight at her. "Give me an explanation." "Why?" I wasn't stupid. I could see what was happening between them. She instinctively moved to shield Caleb. "Ethan, if you have to blame someone, blame me. I couldn't help it." Caleb immediately grabbed her arm. "No, it's not her fault. It's mine." He rushed toward me, grabbing my hand and pressing my fingers against the bleeding puncture mark from the floor. "Ethan, I'm the one who fell in love with her. If you want to hit someone, hit me." A cold smile spread across my face. I wrenched my hand free and slapped him hard. Caleb stumbled back, falling into Sophia's arms. "I do want to hit you." "What the hell is wrong with you, Ethan?" Sophia shoved me with all her might. I lost my balance and crashed to the floor, the back of my hand now bleeding freely. She stood over me, her voice sharp. "You were gone for 3 years. We barely saw each other. It's only natural that we grew apart. Is that right? So you moved on. To Caleb? He's my parents' adopted son, and you just had to choose him." I pushed myself up. "During that fire, you protected him and ran. Did it ever occur to you that I was still in there?" Sophia was speechless. Caleb just stammered, "Ethan, it's all my fault." I got to my feet and faced Sophia. "You can fall for whoever you want, but don't forget what you owe me. I want it all back." Her face paled. Before I left for my fellowship, I had helped Sophia land a major contract, investing my own money for a 5% stake in her startup. It was all in black and white, and to this day, she hadn't paid me a dime. Relationships might be unreliable, but money was something I could count on. Caleb knew exactly what I was talking about. His eyes welled up with tears. "Ethan, we're family. Why do you have to be so ruthless? Sophia works so hard. Don't you think this is a little cruel?" I snorted. "Caleb, you're the one who fell for your own brother's fiancée. You got some nerve calling me cruel." A small crowd of patients had gathered in the hallway. Hearing my words, Caleb's face went white. Sophia grabbed my arm. "Ethan, let's talk about this." I slapped her to, "You have 1 week to get me my money. Otherwise, don't blame me for what happens next. Now, get out of my sight. The both of you are making me sick." Sophia looked like she wanted to argue, but Caleb chose that moment to feign weakness and collapse. She immediately scooped him up, shouting for a doctor, but not before throwing a warning over her shoulder. "If anything happens to Caleb, I'll never forgive you." Rage burned in my eyes. I stormed back into my room, the young nurse following cautiously. You're still recovering. You should try not to overthink things." I had to laugh. It was pathetic. I'd survived a near-death experience, and not a single one of my loved ones or family members had bothered to check if I was okay. Instead, it was a complete stranger showing me concern. I nodded and pulled out my phone to call my lawyer. Over the past 3 years, my family had kept in touch, but they'd never breathed a word of this. Now that I'd stumbled onto their secret, I had to look out for myself. After the hospital observation period ended, I was discharged and went straight home. When I arrived, I saw Sophia's car parked in the driveway. I pushed the door open to find my family, sitting with their backs to me. Caleb was nestled between my parents, his voice laced with that infuriatingly passive-aggressive tone. Mom, what if Ethan comes back and makes a scene? I'm worried he'll do something drastic. My mother's face was wreathed in smiles. He won't. I'll talk to him. If that doesn't work, we'll just send him back overseas. Sophia's voice was low and serious. He wants a share of the company profits back. On what grounds? My mother exclaimed, suddenly agitated. What does he need all that money for? I found the whole thing so ridiculous I couldn't help but chime in. My money, of course, is coming back to its rightful owner. My sudden voice made them all jump. They spun around, and my mother's face flushed with embarrassment. Ethan, when did you get back? You should have called. Right around the time you said you just ship me back overseas. Since I need money for that, I naturally came to collect what's mine. I walked into the room, a humorless smile on my face. Sophia, are you here to tattle on me? Or are you all plotting how to screw me over next? My father's temper flared. What kind of way is that to talk? What do you mean, screw you over? We're all family here. We don't keep score. So we don't keep score to the point of sharing the same woman. I shot back, my voice like ice. Caleb, were all the other women in the world dead? You just had to have her. Tears welled in Caleb's eyes. My mother immediately rushed to his defense. Ethan, what is that attitude? You were the one who chose your career over your relationship when you left for 3 years. Why are you blaming your brother now? How did I raise such an ungrateful monster? My father pointed a finger at me. You've been domineering since you were a child. Sophia's family didn't approve of you too, so I made the decision to have Caleb take your place. Now our families have an understanding, so just drop it. He said it so casually, as if you were talking about picking up groceries at the store. The blatant favoritism crushed what little hope I had left. It was time to burn it all down. Didn't approve? They didn't seem to disapprove when they took my investment money. Funny how their opinion changed the second I was on a plane out of the country. I turned to Sophia. Either you give me my money, or I blow this whole thing wide open, and we'll see whose reputation survives. Your call. Ethan, what the hell is wrong with you? My father was furious now. He lunged at me, ready to strike. I sidestepped him and held up my bandaged left hand. I'm calling out your favoritism. I was injured in that fire. Did a single one of you ask me how I was? A flicker of guilt crossed my mother's eyes. Ethan, we were careless, we admit it. But you're fine. Caleb is more fragile. And in the heat of the moment, we weren't thinking. Caleb, meanwhile, looked at me with red-rimmed eyes. Ethan, you've always competed with me, ever since we were kids. You always had to be the best, the strongest. But love isn't a competition. Sophia and I, we know we hurt you. I'll do whatever you want. I'll get on my knees and beg for your forgiveness, if that's what it takes. I stared at him, my expression unreadable, and waited. Caleb clearly hadn't expected me to call his bluff. He was trapped. Just as the silence became unbearable, he started to look faint, like he was about to pass out. I sneered. If you can't do it, don't say it. I turned and went upstairs. I was done with this house. Up in my room, my lawyer sent over the documents. For the past 3 years, Sophia's company had done very well. According to our agreement, my initial investment and stake meant I was owed $2 million, more than enough to live on comfortably. The catch was if I pulled that capital out now, her company's cash flow would be crippled. Betraying my trust was going to cost her a lot. I had just finished packing my bags when Caleb pushed the door open. The soft, vulnerable act was gone. He stood with his arms crossed, a cruel smirk on his face. Ethan, don't you want to know why? Why, when I'm the adopted one, Mom and Dad love me more? I was curious, but I wouldn't believe a word that came out of his mouth. Are you here to get on your knees? If not, get out. He chuckled darkly. Because I'm their real son. The words hit me, and I frowned. Had he lost his mind? Caleb's voice dropped to a low, serious tone. When I was little, Mom and Dad's business was just starting out. They made rivals who were jealous of their success. They were afraid I'd be kidnapped, so they faked my adoption, legally placing me with relatives. Then they went through the whole process of adopting me back. To make sure no one got suspicious, they had you. He leaned in, his smile venomous. You were born to be my shield, Ethan. That's the only reason you exist. A wave of nausea washed over me. I remember being hit by a car when I was a kid. My parents had been frantic, but after a moment of panic, they were hugging Caleb, comforting him, their faces pale with residual fear. Looking back, it all made a horrifying kind of sense. Was I just collateral damage? I was their child, too. Seeing the look on my face, Caleb leaned even closer. Your entire life is a joke. Forget a woman. If I wanted your life, Mom and Dad would tell you to kill yourself without a second thought. You believe me, don't you? He took a step toward me and suddenly pulled a small knife from his sleeve. Caleb, no. I know you hate me, please. Don't come any closer, he shouted, as if I were the one threatening him. What are you doing? I backed away, keeping my distance. In one swift motion, Caleb dragged the blade across his own arm, then shoved the knife into my hand and collapsed onto the floor. Before I could even process what had happened, my parents burst into the room. Seeing the scene, my father lunged forward and slapped me across the face. You animal! My mother screamed. Ethan, are you insane? How could you? Caleb, sweetie, are you okay? Does it hurt? Caleb, crying, shot me a triumphant look from the floor. Mom, it's not his fault. He can hurt me however he wants. I was about to explode. They abandoned me in a fire, and now they were putting on this pathetic play right in front of me. My father was shaking with rage. Ethan, get out of this house. From this day forward, you are never to set foot in here again. I looked at them with cold eyes. So, you're not even going to listen to my side of the story? You just believe him, is that it? Ethan, what is it going to take for you to stop? My mother screamed at me. You come back and you turn this house into a war zone. Why did you even come back? Get out. Just get out. My whole body trembled. It took a long moment to find my voice. You're right. I was only born to take the fall for Caleb. I looked at him. You win. This house, I'll give it to you. These parents who play favorites, I'll give them to you too. I don't want any of you. My cold, detached gaze seemed to stun my parents for a second. Caleb, clutching his arm, sniffled. If that makes you happy, Ethan. But saying things like that will break Mom and Dad's hearts. Mom, Dad, let Ethan stay. He's still hurt too. My mother snapped instantly. Let him go. Caleb, let me see your arm. That little monster. My father pointed to the household staff. Watch him. Don't let him take a single thing from this house. As of now, you are no longer my son. The moment he shoved me out the front door, my heart felt like a block of ice. From now on, I had no connection to the Cole family. I turned and walked away without a shred of hesitation, though a tremor ran through me. Caleb had been so focused on his performance, and my parents had fallen for it completely. It seemed I really was just an accident. I had nowhere to go. I was freshly back in the country with nothing but my phone and the clothes on my back. I called my graduate advisor, Professor Zhang, and asked about getting a dorm room. He was the one who had recommended me for the fellowship 3 years ago, insisting my talent would be wasted if I didn't pursue advanced studies. Before I came back, he'd been pushing me to join his new research project. When I told him I'd been kicked out of my house, he was silent for a long time. Finally, he said, Ethan, the only way to be free from the control of others is to become powerful in your own right. You are your own man, not someone else's shield. Come back. I need people on my team, and the pay is excellent. I called an Uber and went straight to the lab. When I arrived, a young woman greeted me. Hi, I'm Tessa Zhang. Professor Zhang is my father. He's in a meeting, but he told me to get you settled somewhere first. She was tall and slender and took a step forward. I nodded and followed her. Is your hand okay? I glanced at the gauze, which was now spotted with fresh blood. It's not my blood. Tessa didn't press. She led me to a nearby apartment building. This unit is mine. Don't worry, I don't live here. The last tenant just moved out, and it's been fully cleaned. You can move right in. She handed me a set of keys. My dad says you're a major talent he recruited, and we have to make sure you stay. If you need anything at all, just let me know. I managed a small smile. Thank you. We should exchange numbers. Tessa pulled out her phone, and we added each other on WhatsApp. She left me alone in the apartment to rest. After she was gone, I let myself sink into the sofa, closing my eyes and letting my mind go blank. When I was a kid, I used to be so jealous of Caleb. He could climb on a mom's lap and whine for attention whenever he wanted. If I even tried to get close, Caleb would get jealous or throw a tantrum. At first, I'd cry and argue with him. She was both our mother. Why did she treat me so differently? But Mom would always say Caleb's health was delicate and I had to let him have his way. He was the older brother, but I was always the one giving in. One time, Caleb and I got into a huge fight. He suddenly collapsed on the floor and started twitching. Mom freaked out and rushed him to the hospital. When she came back, she gave me the beating of my life. But later, when no one was looking, I saw Caleb stick his tongue out at me. He had faked the whole thing. From that day on, I couldn't stand to be near him. Now I knew why. The absurdity of it all was almost funny. Why was I letting their mistakes define me? If Caleb wanted to spend his life acting, then let him. He could have his stage. I pulled myself together and opened my phone, scrolling through social media. A news report about the hotel fire popped up on my feed. I watched it carefully. The footage was from a security camera inside the mall. It showed Caleb being shielded by Sophia and my parents. 10 feet away, I was on the ground, staring at their retreating backs with a look of utter shock and despair. The comments section, however, was full of praise for Caleb. That guy's so lucky. His whole family is protecting him. That's what it looks like to be the golden child. He'll never lack for love. So blessed. How do I get reincarnated into a family like that? That's one of my old college classmates. He's their adopted son, but his family treats him amazingly, even better than their biological kid. As the clip went viral, Caleb's online fame grew. He decided to lean into it, posting a video of his own. "Thank you all for your concern," he said to the camera, his arm bandaged. "I've been blessed to grow up surrounded by the love of my parents, and I'm so grateful for everything they've done for me. And yes, as some of you have pointed out, I am the adopted son of the Cole family. Recently, we've had some unpleasantness at home concerning my younger brother. He made a mistake and was disciplined by my parents. I hope if he sees this, he'll get in touch. Ethan, Mom and Dad still love you. Please stop being so stubborn." His words painted me as the unreasonable, petulant child. Immediately, the internet sympathized with him. Wow, what a gentle soul. How could his brother abandon a family with a brother like that? The brother ran away? What does he look like? We'll help you find him. What kind of mistake did he make? The older brother's arm is hurt. How did that happen? Caleb replied to that last comment. My brother didn't mean to do it. That was all it took for the online mob to turn on me. So, it was the brother. No wonder he said he made a mistake. He's pulling knives on his family now. What's he going to do when he's older? Murder someone? That brother is seriously messed up. Even if they're not blood, you don't do that to your own brother. What a thankless monster. They're better off without him. Reading the comments, the sheer righteous fury of these strangers was so absurd, I had to laugh. Caleb, if this is the narrative you want, then let me help you sell it. I liked his post and left a comment. The biggest mistake I ever made was being born into a family with you. Caleb, how does it feel to direct your own little show? Someone replied to me instantly. Are you the brother? What do you mean? What show? Drama. We need the receipts. The internet sleuths went to work. Eventually, the same college classmate who had identified Caleb in the first video found me. The guy who fell on the floor in that video, that's Ethan Cole. It looks like he was hurt too, now that you mention it. He looks pretty damn pathetic in that clip. The older brother says he wants the younger one to come home and apologize. But look at the despair in his eyes as he's being abandoned in a fire. If that were me, my heart would be ice cold too. But that's still no reason to pull a knife on his brother. Dude above me, do you have any proof he's the one who used the knife? Yeah, there have been way too many of these stories with a twist. I'm not buying it. When children don't get along, it's usually the parents' fault. Caleb, of course, saw the comments and quickly deleted mine. But it was too late. I had already taken a screenshot. That video clip was all I needed to start tearing down his carefully constructed facade. In fact, in the video, while everyone else was running for their lives, Caleb's eyes were locked on me. And he was smiling, a smug, triumphant smile. I posted the screenshot. Eagle-eyed users started pulling up photos from the scene from every possible angle. The consensus was clear. Caleb had seen me on the ground during the fire, and he had enjoyed the show. Eating my popcorn from my hospital bed. This is primo gossip. Okay, so the brother hooked up with the fiancée while the younger brother was out of the country. The whole family treats the younger one like crap. The younger brother gets injured and is totally ignored at the hospital, while the older one, who's fine, gets babied by the whole family. And apparently the cheating ex-fiancée still owes the younger brother money. These comments cast a dark shadow over Caleb's perfect story. Soon, Sophia stepped in to do damage control. These are baseless rumors. Ethan and I broke up before he went abroad. Caleb is not a homewrecker, and if someone's own parents don't even like him, you can imagine what kind of person he is. I read her post and burst out laughing. She and Caleb truly were a match made in heaven. Their talent for self-deception was breathtaking. I was about to close the app when a message from Caleb popped up on WhatsApp. Ethan, Sophia is only saying these things to protect the family's reputation. Dad may have kicked you out, but you're still a Cole. You don't want to be dragged through the mud either, do you? Are you afraid of the world finding out you're the other man? I typed back. Caleb's reply was instantaneous and furious. Ethan, I'm calling the police. You assaulted me with a knife, and that's a fact. Go on. I'll be waiting. I blocked his number. Immediately, my phone started blowing up with calls from my parents. I ignored them, blocked their numbers, and deleted them from my contacts. I had nothing to do with the Cole family anymore. If they thought they could threaten me, they were dreaming. Originally, I'd planned to negotiate with Sophia to get my money back. But after she jumped online to slander me, the gloves were off. I contacted the second largest shareholder in her company and made a deal to sell my shares. If Sophia wasn't going to be happy, then I damn well would be. The next day, I threw myself into my work at the lab. For a solid week, I was buried in experiments. My day's a cycle of lab work and sleep. I'd occasionally run into Tessa. She was a doctoral candidate and just as busy, but she was also part of the project, so we quickly became partners. A week later, Sophia called me. I had blocked everyone in the Cole family except for her, curious to see what other deranged stunt they would pull. When she asked to meet, I readily agreed, choosing a coffee shop near the university campus. When I arrived, her expression was complicated. Ethan, about the stuff online. I was forced to say those things. You know, Caleb, his health is fragile. I was just trying to keep him calm. She took a breath. I know I wronged you, but the company is my life's work. It was your creation, too. If you pull your funding now, the project will collapse. Can you really live with that? Yes, I can, I said bluntly. And it's already done. Sophia, I sold my shares. Sophia froze. Then her face contorted with rage. Ethan, this isn't funny. Who's joking? Sophia, you and I are not in a position to be joking with each other. I sold them to Mr. Henderson. The money is already in my account. I stood up. If there's nothing else, I have to get back to work. Sophia stared at me, finally understanding that I genuinely hated her. You're ruthless, Ethan. It takes one to know one. For every ounce of pain I felt, you all deserve to feel it tenfold. Sophia gritted her teeth. Fine. Let's see how you explain yourself to the police. Caleb had actually done it. He'd filed a report. He even posted a video online about it, vowing that this time, our parents are going to teach me a lesson for good. When I got to the police station, Caleb was there, looking smug. My parents were right behind him. The moment my mom saw me, she tried to play the part of the concerned mother. Ethan, just give the money back, reinvest in the company. Sophia is practically your sister-in-law now. Let's not make this so ugly for everyone. My father stood beside her, radiating parental authority. I see those 3 years abroad have made you arrogant. Just admit you were wrong, and we can put this all behind us. I looked at them, my voice cold. Mr. and Mrs. Cole, you're mistaken. How this gets handled is up to the law. Caleb filed a false police report and slandered my name. I will not be letting this go. My words left them sputtering with anger. As my father opened his mouth to argue, I pushed past him and walked inside. Caleb held up his bandaged arm for the officers to see, tears streaming down his face. I couldn't stand the sight of him. It was utterly nauseating. You're a grown man. All you know how to do is cry. Caleb looked at me, shocked. Ethan, how can you say that? You cut me. That's a fact. I rolled my eyes. Do you think the police are idiots? A self-inflicted wound looks completely different from an assault wound. Caleb started sobbing harder. Ethan, you hate me. You keep saying I staged everything, but I would never do that. My mother rushed forward, pulling him into her arms. Ethan, I truly regret the day you were born. Mrs. Cole, while you're busy with your regrets, believe me, I regret having a mother like you even more. I turned to the officer. Officer, filing a false police report and slandering someone is a punishable offense, correct? The officer looked serious. Young man, if you don't have any evidence, you shouldn't make accusations. This wound is almost healed. Getting a forensic analysis would take time. No need, I said, pulling out my phone. I have evidence. Caleb's face went white. I played the video. Ethan, he stammered. I told you from the beginning that you staged it. When I went upstairs that day, I was planning to pack my things and leave. I decided to film a little video for old time's sake as a final memory. I never expected to capture something so theatrical. My parents stood beside me, their faces ashen. They couldn't believe Caleb would do something like that. But it didn't change their opinion of me. Ethan, how could you secretly record in our home? Your brother was just playing a joke on you. That's right, Ethan. I cut them off and addressed the officer. I want to press charges. I will not settle. I turned back to my family. Caleb spread lies and started a hate campaign against me online. I have proof of all of it. Though I'd been working, I had tasked my lawyer with gathering all the evidence. Seeing how prepared I was, Caleb panicked. He looked like he was about to faint again. I stared him down, thinking of passing out again. Funny, your physical from last month said you're in perfect health. I hardened my voice. No matter what, I am not settling. Ethan, he's your brother, my mother shrieked, hoping I would back down. I shook my head and refused, signaling for my lawyer to take over. The police took Caleb into custody right then and there. A crowd of online reporters and bloggers were waiting outside. When I emerged, they swarmed me. I didn't hesitate. I airdropped the video to all of them. The internet erupted once again. OMG, I've never seen someone so committed to the act. This guy's a master manipulator. No wonder you said he staged it. Is he always like this at home? That must be exhausting. And the parents are so biased. Even with proof, they wanted the blogger to just forgive and forget. I can't even imagine how much crap the blogger must have put up with over the years. Am I the only one who thinks getting kicked out was the best thing that ever happened to him? That family needs to be locked in a box together. Stay away from them. The blogger is going to have a much better life now. Wait, Caleb said their family business made people jealous enough to plot against them. I'm just wondering, how big is this company that they're afraid of assassination attempts but can't afford a single bodyguard? That last comment made me laugh. It was a good point. The Cole family business wasn't exactly a multinational conglomerate that inspired murderous envy in its competitors. I couldn't help but smile. This wasn't my fault. They had worked so hard to build up Caleb's perfect image, and he had shattered it all himself. Of course, he was still the apple of my parents' eye. He was bailed out quickly, but he was still facing charges and had a record. Panicked, Caleb pressured Sophia into marrying him. I was leaving the lab one evening when I saw Sophia waiting for me by the entrance. "Ethan," she said, her voice strained, "I know you're still not over me. You're doing all this to get back at him, to make me come back to you. Fine, I agree. Let's get married." Before I left the country, Sophia and I had planned to get married as soon as I returned. On what planet did she think I would still be waiting for her after everything that had happened? I slapped her. Twice. Her head snapped to the side, and her cheek immediately started to swell. "It's okay," she whispered, turning back to me. "You can hit me. I deserve it. Did you hurt your hand?" I let out a sharp, derisive laugh. "Sophia, do you not own a mirror? You really think you're worth my time?" I pointed over my shoulder at Tessa, who had just walked out of the lab with a few other female grad students. "You see her? She's brilliant, beautiful, and comes from a good family. Not to mention, she's loyal. And look at them." I gestured to the other students. "They're smart, full of life, and they're actually nice people." The grad students, catching on, played along. "Professor Cole looks so handsome today. That slap was incredibly cool." "Professor, is that the cheater? What is she even doing on campus?" "Exactly. She has homewrecker written all over her face. She's so not good enough for you." Sophia's face cycled through shades of red and white. "Ethan, are you serious?" "Sophia, you and a guy like Caleb deserve each other. You should lock yourselves away and never bother the rest of the world again. Now get lost. If I see you again, I'll hit you again." Sophia finally scurried away. When she was gone, I turned to the students, embarrassed. "Hey, sorry about that. Using you all as a shield. Let me buy you dinner." "Professor, we wouldn't want to interrupt your date with Dr. Zhang." "Bye, Professor. See you next time." They scattered in a flash, leaving me alone with Tessa. She cleared her throat. "Beautiful, I can understand. I'm confident in my looks. Rich, because of the apartment? I guess that's fair enough. But how did you figure out I was loyal?" "I don't recall ever mentioning that." My face flushed. I was just riffing. I figured anyone Professor Zhang raised would have a strong moral compass. Tessa laughed. "That's true. As for whether I'm loyal or not, I guess you'll find out." I was confused. "What? You owe me dinner for helping you out," she said, changing the subject. It was true. I was living in her apartment. Buying her dinner was the least I could do. Tessa chose a quiet, elegant bistro. Unbelievably, Sophia hadn't left. She was sitting in her car across the street, watching me through the window with a look of profound longing. Once, that look would have made my heart race. Now, I had no interest in playing her games. Tessa ordered for us braised short ribs, a creamy risotto, and seared salmon, all my favorites. She caught my questioning gaze and explained, "You came over for dinner at my parents' house once. These are my mom's specialties. You ate every last bite." I remembered. Professor Zhang often invited a few of us students over. His wife was always incredibly kind to me, and she would always make those specific dishes and place them right in front of me. And I, feeling at home, would clean my plate every time. Every time I go home now, my mom mentions how you always made her feel appreciated because you finished everything she cooked. A warmth spread through my chest. Your mom is a wonderful person and an amazing cook. At my house, they only ever cook Caleb's favorite foods. Never anything I like. "Ethan, you're a good man. Don't ever sell yourself short," Tessa said softly. "If you weren't, people would have used this whole mess as an opportunity to tear you down. But they didn't. That says everything." Her words were like a splash of cold water. She was right. I wasn't a bad person. When this happened, I fought back. And there were plenty of people who liked me. Why was I wasting my energy on such a toxic, insignificant part of my past? "Thank you," I said. "Don't thank me. Ethan, we're friends. The kind who will meet at the top. Don't let irrelevant people drag you down. They're the ones who don't get it." I felt a sense of release. When I looked out the window again, Sophia's car was gone. She was even more fragile than I thought. After dinner, Tessa gave me a ride home. As we pulled up to the apartment building, I saw my parents standing by the entrance. "What was this, a coordinated attack?" "Ethan, it was all my fault. My mother began, her voice choked with sobs. She opened her mouth, but couldn't seem to continue. I took a deep breath. pushing down the familiar pang of pain in my chest. Are you here to plead Caleb's case? If so, I'm sorry, but I'm not backing down. No, she grabbed my hand. I know we've wronged you all these years. Caleb, I've disciplined him. I came here today specifically to apologize to you, to admit I was wrong. Is that so? And how did you discipline him? Did you ground him? Or are you planning to finally kick him out? A cold laugh escaped me. If it were me, and I didn't have that video, you would have let them throw me in jail without a second thought. Wouldn't you? She was speechless. My father, standing beside her, spoke in his usual rigid tone. Why do you have to be like this, son? We're trying to talk to you civilly. I always knew it. With an attitude like yours, no family would ever want you. That's not true. Tessa stepped out from behind me. Ethan is a wonderful person. He's stable, considerate, brilliant, and driven. Everyone at the lab praises him. You're the only ones who seem to think he's not good enough. She lifted her chin. The project Ethan is working on at the lab is a national-level initiative. He's operating on a level you can't even comprehend. And who are you? My father asked, looking at her dismissively. She's my advisor's daughter, Tessa Zhang, I said. You should go home. My mother's demeanor changed in an instant. She pushed past me, a wide smile on her face. Oh, the professor's daughter. Please, won't you come inside for a bit? Mr. and Mrs. Cole, please stop, I said, cutting her off. This apartment belongs to Tessa. You're not in a position to invite anyone in. Also, I don't want to see you again. Please leave, or I'll call security. I turned to Tessa. Sorry about this. Don't be, she said, and followed me inside. When my parents tried to follow, a security guard intercepted them. They stood on the sidewalk, fuming but helpless. I knew they hadn't changed. After all these years, Caleb's position in their hearts was unshakable. They were only here trying to make peace because Caleb was facing prison time. In all likelihood, Sophia's family wouldn't want their daughter marrying a convict, and that's what truly had them panicked. Upstairs, Tessa held up her phone. Call me if you need anything. Don't worry about it being a bother. Okay, I will. After that night, they never bothered me again. As predicted, Sophia's family agreed to the marriage. I was a bit surprised when I heard the news, but then I found out she was pregnant. Someone must have given Caleb the brilliant idea that a baby would tie him to the family for good. But I was still pressing charges. What did I care if he married Sophia? He was going to prison. If Sophia's family was fine with their grandchild having a father like that, it was none of my business. A friend who was in the loop gave me the details. There was no wedding, no diamond ring, just a piece of paper signed at the courthouse. A simple formality. Ethan, you have no idea how pissed Caleb was, my friend told me. He was complaining on the day they got their marriage license. Sophia just gave him this dead-eyed stare and told him to sign it or get lost. He immediately started apologizing. The guy's tears are worthless. He can turn them on whenever he wants. What an actor. How do you know all this? I asked. My friend's voice held a mysterious smile. A couple who was also getting their license that day filmed it and posted it online. It got deleted almost instantly. You know, Sophia's family pulled some strings, but not before I saved it. He sent a video to me. Well, I said, watching it. He got exactly what he wanted. His dream came true. In the end, Sophia's baby was never born. The stress of having me as a ticking time bomb must have gotten to her. Anytime Caleb showed a hint of impatience, she accused him of cheating. Eventually, their fights turned physical. He hit her, and she had a miscarriage. Her family was furious and tried to kick Caleb to the curb. Of course, Caleb wouldn't go quietly. They were locked in a bitter, endless battle. Sophia, in a fit of rage, even tried to use her family's resources to retaliate against my parents' business. But her company was no longer hers to command. She was quickly ousted from the board of directors. Her career was over, but her love story was picture perfect. I wished them a lifetime locked together in their misery. As for me, I was flourishing, my career taking off. I was on my own, and I was beautiful.